So the Indiana Fever are facing the Chicago Sky, and they are playing, obviously, in the United Center. There are 20,000 seats. It is going to be one of the most biggest attended WNBA games of all time. I don't know if it's going to be more or less attended, because I think it was 20,000 and something in the Mystics' last game of last season, where in fairness, Caitlin Clark played, 15 minutes in that game or something? Caitlin Clark did she even play in the second half? But yeah, that was obviously a huge game. But this game being in the United Center, if you guys did not see, tickets sold out. And tickets sold out in 5 minutes. They sold out in 5 minutes. United Center sold out in a minute. Sorry, not in a minute, 5 minutes. A minute. It was a fight even trying to get tickets. Seats kept disappearing. They started $200. Back in 2007, you get season tickets for that price. You can go get season tickets probably a year ago for that price in some teams. Again, I'm not going to say all teams. I'm not going to say all teams on that one, because there were some teams that made decent money. But they're there to watch. It's going to be all Fever fans again, by the way.
Angel Reese just got a harsh reality check. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it hit her right at home. Wintrust Arena sold out in just 1 minute. Not for Reese, not for the Sky, but for Clark. Right now, the biggest name in women's basketball isn't Reese, it's Clark. And Reese? She's furious.
For my teammates, and if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
For all the talk about Bayou Barbie and her so-called star power, Reese couldn't even sell out her own home games on her best day. But the moment Caitlin Clark enters the picture, Chicago fans flood the ticket booths. Reese, and every WNBA player trying to downplay Clark's influence, just got a brutal reality check. Let's get the facts straight. The Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game featuring Caitlin Clark sold out in just 1 minute. Meanwhile, the Sky, with Angel Reese and fellow rookie Camila Cardoso, haven't even come close to a sellout this fast. Wintrust Arena holds about 10,000 fans, a modest number compared to NBA venues, yet still too big for Reese to fill on her own. The difference? Caitlin Clark moves tickets. If this isn't proof of who the real star of the WNBA is, I don't know what is. Chicago, and Angel Reese's own home crowd, are more excited to see Caitlin Clark than their own rookie sensation.
She's representing her rookie season in the WNBA, Angel Reese.
Remember when Angel Reese and her camp dismissed the idea that Caitlin Clark was bigger than the game? Yeah, this is awkward now. No matter how much Reese or the WNBA try to push a diverse, multiple-star league narrative, the numbers don't lie. Clark is the reason people care about women's basketball. She's the reason ratings are up. She's the reason Chicago, a city Reese plays for, is packed for this game. If Reese wasn't happy seeing Clark steal the spotlight in college, imagine how she feels now that even her own home crowd cares more about Clark than her. And let's be real, Reese will probably take a shot at Clark in an interview or on social media, because she just can't handle the reality. Take a step back. WNBA buzz has never been this high in over 25 years. And it's not because of Angel Reese, Aya Wilson, or even the Chicago Sky as a whole. It's because of one player, Caitlin Clark. The WNBA draft lottery? Record-breaking ratings. The WNBA draft? Most watched in history. The Indiana Fever schedule release? Immediate ticket surge. The Sky vs. Fever game? Sold out in a minute. Now, compare that to Angel Reese. LSU was already a championship-winning program before she arrived. She played under Hall of Fame coach Kim Mulkey, alongside multiple five-star recruits. And yet, Reese still couldn't come close to Clark's impact. Say what you want about Angel Reese, but let's be honest. She's the star of every show only when Caitlin Clark is in the building. I can't even hate on it. She's like all three Stooges at once. Meanwhile, Clark built Iowa from the ground up, shattered every record in sight, and now she's revitalizing the WNBA in ways nobody else has. Even in markets that used to ignore women's basketball, Clark's presence is undeniable. Some fans still argue that Reese is just as big of a name, but let's break that illusion real quick. Clark dominates engagement across all platforms. Her games sell out everywhere, including cities without a WNBA team. Fever jerseys are flying off the shelves. Angel Reese jerseys? Not so much. TV ratings? If Clark is on the court, expect record-breaking numbers. So while Angel Reese keeps calling herself Bayou Barbie, the truth is Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the real dollars. And this situation puts Reese in a tight spot. If you're the Chicago Sky, how do you even market Reese when your own fans are more excited about Clark? If Clark is the one boosting attendance, what does that say about Reese's star power? If Reese wants to be the face of the WNBA, shouldn't she be able to sell out her own home games without Clark's help? This is embarrassing for Reese. She's supposed to be a big draw, yet her city only shows up when Clark is in town. And let's be honest, there are plenty of WNBA players who aren't thrilled about Clark getting all the shine. They've downplayed her impact, created division, and acted like she's just another rookie. But this sellout proves otherwise. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just real, it's undeniable. And for Angel Reese, it's a harsh reminder that she's not the main attraction. At the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is the reason people are watching. She's breaking records, selling out arenas, and carrying the WNBA into the mainstream. Reese might not like it. Other WNBA stars might not like it. But the truth is in the numbers. Chicago Sky fans just made their choice. They want Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese? She's just another player in Clark's league. But the Caitlin Clark effect doesn't just dominate ticket sales. It exposes the real gap between her and Angel Reese. It's one thing to not be the biggest draw in your own home arena, but it's another thing entirely when your own league struggles to generate buzz around you. Take Unrivaled, the off-season league Reese and other WNBA stars hyped up as a game-changer for women's basketball. On paper, it sounded great, player-led, full control, star power driving the marketing. But in reality, nobody cares. No real buzz. No real numbers. If Reese was truly on Clark's level, Unrivaled would be thriving. Instead, it's struggling for relevance before it even starts. If Reese can't generate excitement for a league she helped create, how is she supposed to carry a WNBA franchise the way Clark is carrying the Indiana Fever? Let's rewind to the start of the 2024 WNBA season. Reese entered the league with massive hype, fresh off an LSU championship, marketed as the next big personality. She was supposed to be the WNBA's answer to Caitlin Clark, the player who could bring in fans and attention. But the moment both players stepped on a WNBA court, the gap between them became painfully obvious. Clark was immediately the biggest draw, selling out stadiums from day one. Reese? Not so much. While Clark was breaking records and bringing in new audiences, Reese struggled to move the needle, or even secure rebounds that weren't off her own misses. And let's be real, every time I scroll X, I see 50 clips of Reese missing 15 layups a game. It didn't take long for people to spin a new narrative. Clark's popularity had nothing to do with basketball, it was just white fans rallying around her. But now, a season later, that excuse holds zero weight. Because the gap between their actual skills is undeniable. If Clark were just a media creation, she would have fizzled out by now. Instead, she's only gotten more dominant, while Reese has struggled to justify her own hype. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody in Reese's camp wants to admit. She's just not that good. She's not a bad player, but she's nowhere near the level needed to be the face of the WNBA. If she wants to be compared to Clark, she needs to at least get the fundamentals down first. Look at her atrocious layup percentage. Reese constantly misses easy shots, blows point-blank attempts, and wastes offensive possessions. Meanwhile, Clark is out here casually draining logo threes like it's nothing. One of these players is a generational talent. The other is still trying to figure out how to make a layup. A year ago, there was real debate about whether Reese and Clark would be the two defining stars of the WNBA's new era. But now, that conversation is over. Reese had a head start, college championship, media hype, bold personality. But once she hit the WNBA, she was exposed. Caitlin Clark's star power isn't about race. It's about performance. She has the skills, the numbers, and the undeniable impact that makes her the face of the WNBA. And Angel Reese? She's just another player in Clark's league.